Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always. What are we exploring today?
Today it's AI tools and their future. And we've got some pretty amazing resources lined up to help us really get into it.
Sounds good. AI tools. That's a pretty hot topic these days.
Yeah, it is, and I think for good reason, but it can also be a bit overwhelming, right? I mean, there's so much out there, so much to keep up with, and so many questions.
Definitely. Where do you even begin? How do you know which tools are worth your time? And then there are all the bigger questions about the impact of AI on, well, everything.
Exactly. And that's really what we're going to try to unpack today. We're going to dive deep into how to actually use these tools, what their benefits and limitations are, and what we might expect in the future. So, sort of a roadmap for navigating the AI landscape.
Love it. A roadmap is exactly what's needed.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Our source material kicks off with a super practical section on how to use AI tools effectively. And the very first thing it emphasizes, you got to start by identifying the problem you're actually trying to solve.
Makes sense. Don't just jump on the AI bandwagon because it's trendy. Figure out what you need it to do for you.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right tool for the job. Like say you're a small business owner and you're drowning in paperwork, right? AI-powered document processing could be a lifesaver.
hmm
Or imagine you're a teacher who wants to personalize learning for your students. There are some incredible AI-powered tutoring platforms out there that can provide really customized support.
Right, right. So many possibilities. But then comes the next big question. How do you actually get your hands on these tools?
Right. And the source material breaks down a couple of main approaches. There are the big cloud-based platforms like OpenAI and Google AI, which are super accessible and easy to scale up as you need. But then there's also on-premise software, which might be a better choice if you've got really sensitive data and need that extra layer of security.
Yeah, I can see that. Like if you're a healthcare provider using AI to analyze patient data, you definitely don't want that information floating around in the cloud.
Exactly. Data security is huge, especially with all the regulations around privacy these days.
Speaking of which, the source material does touch on legal compliance, especially those big data privacy laws like GDPR and CCPA.
Yeah, it's good they brought those up because it's clear that these regulations are going to be a huge part of responsible AI implementation going forward.
Totally agree. You got to protect people's privacy in a world where data is everything.
Okay, so we've talked about identifying the problem and then finding the right tool, but what about actually making it work for you? I mean, these tools aren't just plug and play, are they?
Nope, not at all. That's where integration and customization come in. And our source material goes into some detail about this. Think of it this way. You want your systems to talk to each other, right? So you might have your customer service, AI, accessing purchase history from your existing database, that kind of thing.
Right. So how does that actually happen?
Well, APIs, or application programming interfaces, are kind of like bridges. They allow different software systems to communicate and share data seamlessly. It's pretty slick, actually.
I can imagine. And what about customization? I remember reading something about training AI models with your own data.
Yeah, that's key for making these tools really sing.
Yeah.
By feeding the AI your own data, you can make it way more specialized and effective. Think of a marketing team training an AI on their past successful campaigns. They could then use that to generate new content that's super targeted and impactful.
Wow, that's a great example. So it sounds like we're talking about a whole other level of power and relevance here, not just off-the-shelf solutions.
Exactly. It's about making these tools work for you, not the other way around.
Okay, so now I think it's time to dive into the good stuff, the potential benefits of AI tools. This is what gets people excited, right? What did our sources highlight?
Well, automation was definitely a big one. I mean, think about all those tedious tasks we all do, like data entry, scheduling appointments, generating reports. AI can handle all of that. Frees up your time and resources for bigger, more strategic stuff.
Right. And we're not just talking about hypothetical benefits here, are we?
Not at all. There are studies showing real results. Like one study found that businesses using AI for marketing automation saw a huge jump in lead generation and customer engagement.
Wow, that's impressive. And it's not just saving time, right? Yeah. The source material also talked a lot about data analysis, like how AI can help you make better decisions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're talking about sifting through mountains of data to find trends and patterns that we might miss. This could be huge in fields like finance, where AI can help detect fraud, or even in healthcare, where it can analyze medical images to spot potential diseases earlier and more accurately.
That's incredible. It seems like AI can uncover insights that would otherwise stay hidden. And then there's the whole personalization thing, which I find fascinating, especially as an educator. Like those AI-powered learning platforms that adapt to each student's individual style and pace.
Yeah, that's a game changer. And that level of personalization can go way beyond education. Think about e-commerce, where AI recommends products based on your browsing history and preferences.
It's all about creating a more tailored experience, isn't it? So it seems like there's a theme here. AI is really good at things that involve crunching massive amounts of data and finding patterns, whether it's automating tasks, extracting insights, or personalizing experiences.
You got it. But, and this is important, AI isn't perfect. There are limitations, and our source material doesn't shy away from those.
Right. No technology is a silver bullet. So what are some of the things we need to be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest things they emphasize is that AI is only as good as the data you feed it. So if the data is biased or incomplete, the results will be too. Like imagine training an AI on a data set of mostly male faces. It might have trouble recognizing female faces accurately. It's a problem.
Yeah, it highlights the need for really careful and ethical development of these systems. We can't just blindly trust the output.
Exactly. And speaking of ethical considerations, the source material also brings up the issue of job displacement. I mean, as AI takes over tasks, it's natural to worry about what happens to those jobs.
Right. That's a big concern for a lot of people.
It is. But the source material also stresses the need to adapt and reskill. It's not necessarily about AI replacing humans entirely, but rather augmenting our capabilities. So maybe instead of replacing doctors, AI assists them with diagnostics, freeing them up to focus on patient care.
That's a more optimistic way of looking at it. It's about evolving, not just disappearing.
Exactly. And let's not forget about security risks. Like any digital system, AI is vulnerable to hacking and data breaches, right?
Right, so robust security measures are absolutely essential, especially when we're talking about sensitive information.
Absolutely. So yeah, AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a magic solution. We need to be thoughtful and responsible about how we use it.
Totally agree. Okay, so we've covered the how-to, the benefits, the limitations. Well, what about the future? Where do our sources see all of this heading?
Well, they highlighted the need for ongoing regulation to make sure AI is developed and used ethically. It's a constantly evolving field, so those guardrails are going to be super important. They also see a big trend toward human AI collaboration, like working together to solve really complex problems.
Wow, that's exciting. Imagine what we could achieve together. But it also makes me think about how we prepare for this future. What do individuals need to do to thrive in an AI-driven world?
The source material was pretty clear on this one. Continuous learning and adaptability are key. AI is changing so fast, we got to be willing to keep learning and updating our skills to stay ahead of the curve.
It's almost like lifelong learning is no longer optional, right?
Right, it's becoming essential.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about how to use AI tools, what they're good at, where they fall short, and even what the future might hold. So for our listeners who are maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of this, what's the key takeaway?
I'd say this. AI tools are already changing the world in profound ways. They offer incredible potential for progress and innovation, but it's crucial to approach them with a balanced perspective. Understand both their strengths and weaknesses.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
This deep dive has been a fantastic overview, but it's really just a starting point, right?
totally. Now it's up to each listener to keep exploring and figuring out how AI can fit into their own lives and work.
And as you do that, as you keep learning and exploring, I think there's one big question to keep in mind.
What's that?
Given the incredible potential of AI to both disrupt and improve our world, how can you, as an individual, use these tools to create positive change, to solve meaningful problems, and to shape the future you want to see?
Ooh, now that's a great question to ponder.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI tools. Until next time.